Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is where I provide my sweet and loyal subbies and a few curious newbies with insider baking knowledge. It's also where I get to let my funny bone loose.
Delicious.
And be a goofball occasionally because I can. I have huge news to share with you guys. At the beginning of 2021, I made the decision to sell Jillian's Cakery. And I'm so excited to say that this means I'll be ramping up all of my YouTube content, creating regular tutorials and top 5s for you. It also means that I'll be sharing all of this from my own kitchen. I think it's going to make us better friends and allow me to understand some of the issues you may have in your own kitchens when smashing out a recipe. In this episode, my ever popular top 5 tutorials is back. I'll be showing you the 5 top cake and icing mistakes and how to correct them. For information on what's coming up next, please subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications. Okay, here we go.
Actually, it's probably the best option.
Every baker has experienced that moment in the kitchen where they are looking up Disaster Creek. Maybe start to sweat and swallow hard and think to themselves, how am I going to fix this? Have no fear, my friends. Watch this episode until the end to get every little morsel of information on how to bring any creation back from the brink of cake death. So, without further ado, I'll start with number 5, sunken cake middles. Let's get detailed in this segment and explore one reason why your cake sinks in the middle and how to correct it. There are a variety of reasons why your cake may sink in the middle, like not having enough leavening agent like baking soda or baking powder, and sometimes it's just as simple as taking out a cake from the oven too early. When you put a cake in the oven, the outside rim of the cake starts to bake first. Then, gradually, as time goes on, the heat starts to bake through to the center of the cake. If you take your cake out too early, the heat hasn't had a chance to set the chemical structure of the cake batter in the middle of your cake and allow it to rise and stay strong. Now, the batter of a cake is like a complex web of flour's gluten strands and the moisture and the air bubbles that you make with it. When you heat this chemical structure, it reacts by rising and trapping air bubbles into the gluten strands. Bake it for too long and it will be dry, but if you take it out too quickly and the structure isn't set yet, it will fall like a deflated balloon. The trick is to know when your cake batter is set enough to keep its structure, but not too dry to where you're going to have to repair it with sugar syrup, although I do have a fix for that too. You'll need to cut away the ring of cake and fill in the middle section to make the cake layer look even. No one will ever know that it's sunk in the middle before you iced it. Hot tip of the day. When a cake recipe tells you, bake your cake for 25 minutes, do me a favor, bake it for 22 minutes and then go in and check it. Just take your finger and tap the middle of your cake ever so lightly. You're looking to make only a slight depression in the middle of your cake with your finger. If it still feels too liquidy or soft, close the oven and put it back in for that extra 3 minutes. As soon as it feels like a tight drum, you know it's ready. You can take it out and let it cool. Number 4 on my top 5 list of how to fix your broken cakes and icings is broken cake layers. Okay, so you've got a plan to ice your perfectly baked cake, but you lift the layer up and it accidentally breaks right in half. You look down in shock and horror and have a mini conniption fit. What am I going to do now? It's ruined. No, do not do it, my friends. Walk away from the ledge. It's going to be fine. And once I give you this fix, you'll never care about what your layers look like again. If you have a 2-layer cake, you want the broken layer to be on the bottom, okay? If you have a 3-layer cake, you'll want that one to be in the middle of your cake. Don't make it your top layer because it's the most fragile and it's likely to fall apart. Take your cake layer, put the icing on the top, and then lay your broken layer piece by piece, like a puzzle, until it looks like a whole layer. Then cover it with a layer of icing. Put it in the freezer for 10 minutes and set it like glue. Then you can continue icing your cake as if it never happened. Number 3 on my top 5 list on how to fix your broken cakes and icings is split buttercream. You may think it's the end of the world as you know it when your butter splits from your icing, but truly it's just testing your mettle as a cake expert. If you notice that it looks something like a curdled mess with lumps of butter and liquid inside of your mixing bowl, it's usually because your buttercream is too cold or the ingredients were different temperatures when you mix them together. There's one way to fix it, but it will require a bit of confidence in yourself. Never fear and don't throw it out. Apply some heat by dipping your bowl in hot water. Then put it back, mix it for 10 minutes if you have to, and show that buttercream who's boss. Believe me, when you incorporate enough air into your icing, it will come back together again. Folks, do you have a really cool tip to share with the Jillian Butler YouTube community? If so, don't keep it to yourself. Share it in the comments below so we can all be better cakers and icers. Number 2 on my top 5 list on how to fix your broken cakes and icings is lumpy icing. Now we've all had lumpy icing and there are many ways to fix it. The biggest tip I can give you when making an icing is to make sure all of your ingredients are at the same temperature when you incorporate them. So soften your butter and your cream cheese, or make sure that the butter is the same consistency as your shortening. Whatever ingredients you use to make your icing, it's the same rule throughout. Now, if you've mixed it for 10 minutes and it's still lumpy, maybe due to your icing sugar being hard like rock, then you'll need to put it into your food processor, blend the lumps out, put it in the refrigerator and chill it, put it back into your mixer, and get the air back into your icing. We've reached the top, my friends, and the number 1 tip on my top 5 list of how to fix your broken cakes and icings is torn crumb coat edges. This is one of the most common problems I think I've heard. Trying to crumb coat a cake and the edges start to tear off. I can tell you without a doubt, I know why it happens to you, and how to fix it is as simple as 1, 2, 3. When you have your cake at room temperature, it's very soft and delicate. When you try to spread a thick icing on there, the cake isn't going to be able to stand up to that without tearing. So the 2 things I'm going to tell you now will make your life much easier and change the way you ice cakes forever. Forever! The first tip is to chill the cake before you start your crumb coat. A good 20 minutes in the freezer will lock those cake layers together and make them more resilient. And no, it will not dry out your cake just for being in the freezer for that short of time. The second tip is to gently warm about a cup of your icing so that the consistency is of like room temperature butter. Not melted, just nice and soft like it's going to melt as soon as it hits your lovely cake. This allows the icing to be pressed into the holes of your cake layers and make a nice smooth crumb coat. And you're not dragging any cake along with your icing. Then you'll need to whack it in the freezer again for an additional 10 minutes to set the icing. I know it seems as though I use the freezer a lot, but it truly is the only way to control the cake icing process every step of the way to ensure a smooth, professional finish. So, there you have it. My top 5 list on how to fix your broken cake and icings. If you liked my video, please click the thumbs up icon and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Until next time, take care and tell the people closest to you that you love them. Bye! A big shout out to Mom's Minivan for teaching me how to do this Jacob's ladder. It was fun, easy and simple. The link will be in the comments below. And have a mini conniption fit. This allows your icing to